What is up, everybody? In today's video, we'll be talking about a changing weather pattern and a significant severe weather episode that could be coming up later into May. Let's get right into this video. Now, before we get into the future of the weather that's coming up, I do want to mention that we do have a day one risk today with a slight risk of severe weather across portions of Idaho, Montana, into Wyoming areas. Surprisingly, a pretty weird area to have severe weather, even into portions of Utah. For a isolated wind risk. Now, the hail and tornado threat is pretty low with this, so mainly just a wind risk that you do need to be paying attention to today. Now, we also do have a marginal 1 out of 5 for severe weather with an isolated tornado 2 possible in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi, and then an isolated chance for hail and a higher chance for wind across those areas there, but pretty isolated risk. Now, if we get into day 2's risk, the marginal kind of continues here for portions of Georgia into Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, into Florida. And the same really risk are going to be put into play with this: an isolated tornado threat for portions of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, and then an isolated hail risk in Georgia, Alabama, and a bigger wind risk for tomorrow, but just some pretty isolated severe weather risks for the next few days. Now, what I really do want to talk about is the potential increasing risk for severe weather later into May that we could be seeing across a lot of the U.S., including the central and even the eastern U.S. Basically, anywhere in this area I just circled could have a potential severe weather threat across into next week, even into early 2 weeks from now. So a lot of this is still far out, but we are starting to get closer to this, so I do want to talk about this. See how there's not much moisture for much of the U.S. right now, but this is going to significantly change. So if we do look into the future here, once we're at Monday, we already have some increasing dew points. Look at all this moisture that's coming in from the Gulf of America here that we are going to see with this increasing warm sector across a lot of the U.S. That's going to aid to severe weather potential because we're going to have more moisture in the air that's going to aid to our severe weather risk here, and we're going to have plenty of it. I mean, look at this across the central U.S. We're getting into almost 70-degree dew points across portions of Missouri, Arkansas, and even Illinois, and maybe even portions of Nebraska and Iowa. And this is going to continue through Thursday. We could be looking at severe weather threat Wednesday, even into Thursday. And even another severe weather threat in the mid-Atlantic on Friday with just plenty of moisture for this area in the U.S. that's going to aid to a severe weather threat. We could be seeing just constant 70-degree dew points that could aid to a lot of rain and significant severe weather, especially for this part of the U.S., in my opinion, that could be at increased severe weather potential over the next few weeks or so with just never-ending warm sector, basically. So tons of moisture. If you do look at the surface-based cape over the next few days, we're going to have plenty of it. This is basically the instability in the air. This is already on Thursday. We're going to have plenty of instability across the U.S. That's going to aid a potential severe weather risk for a long time here. Look at all this instability. Plenty of instability to aid to significant severe weather. We're already starting to look at a severe weather threat. If we do look at this real quick. Now, we don't have any other risks. It just says predictability too low for day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. But we do have one for day 5. And this is already a slight risk of severe weather that is growing concern for Thursday, as we do have a lot of instability in the air atmosphere for these areas that could aid to a significant severe weather risk. Now, we are already looking at a wind and hail risk, but the tornado threat, it's not out of the question. We could see a few tornadoes possible. We are still a tad bit far out to really get into details on the hazard of tornadoes and how significant that threat could be. But definitely start to be weather aware as this is coming up here on Thursday. And once we get a few days close to this, we will get a lot more information. And I do think we could see some outlooks across even the next few days or so into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, even across portions of these areas and these areas too over the next few days or so. So basically this whole area of the U.S. could be looking at severe weather risk late into this week that's coming up into early next week with this severe weather threat we are going to have, and this one for Thursday. So anywhere in this yellow area, start to be weather aware now in Missouri, Illinois, into Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Iowa areas. Now, even though the weather is quiet right now, we have talked about the uptick in severe weather that we could be having having for a lot of the U.S. here. But I do want to also talk about, aside from the severe weather, we're going to see a lot of rain over the next few days in the southeastern U.S. That's going to aid to a potential flash flooding threat. We could see anywhere in these yellow and red areas, we could be seeing 2 to 3, maybe even 4, maybe even 5 inches of rain in some spots across Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, into North Carolina, and Virginia over the next few days or so. That could aid to a potential flash flooding threat and a lot of rainfall that we are going to be talking about. If I do look at the flash flooding threat, we already have a slight risk of flash flooding today across portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into South Carolina. Now, these flash flooding threats, they're not like crazy significant, but they definitely is a slight risk, so you definitely do need to be prepared, because I do think we could see flooding across some areas in this yellow area over the next few days or so. That we could be seeing. Now, I do not think we're going to see flooding everywhere in that area. I'm just saying that if we do get training of thunderstorms, this could aid to potential flash flooding threat in that area I just circled there. And I do think the flash flooding risk continues even into day 3 across portions of Virginia and North Carolina on the day 3 outlook, which would be on Tuesday. So today, tomorrow, and on Tuesday, we could be seeing some flash flooding and heavy rainfall across portions of the southeastern U.S. across the next few days or so. Alright, well, hope everybody did enjoy this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more severe weather updates to keep you guys all prepared on the weather that is ongoing across the U.S. We have been in a quieter weather pattern lately, but this is going to change late into the week, as I do think an uptick in severe weather is coming and a lot of rainfall for the southeastern U.S. Goodbye, everybody.